Yo, what's up guys, I am Mahi and welcome to this video on executes where we go over different kinds of executes, the strengths and weaknesses and when you should be using which kind. So there we have a traditional execute from Heroic against Navi, and these traditional executes, or just executes, they start off with smoke grenades that cut off any rotates, they cut off any AVPs, and most importantly they cut off any crossfires, so you don't have to be worried about anybody shooting you from behind. Alright, and then they follow up with mollies, and these mollies are flushing mollies. They flush out the enemies, the CTs, from any of their hiding spots, so now the CTs are forced out to the open where they have nowhere to hide. And then finally come the flashes, and a lot of flashes. If you look at Heroic, ideally you would throw like one entry flash and then one supportive flash. If you don't know what those mean, then check my previous video on execute utility types, and then more supportive flashes if you have any. I think Heroic only threw supportive flashes here, but whatever, they had so many that it really doesn't matter. And yeah, now the CTs just, they're out in the open, they are blind, the Ts are swarming you're dead. All right, there's nothing you can do, nobody can defend against this. And if we look at JL here, he knows this as well, he knows he cannot defend, so he would rather just leave the site completely, let Heroic execute and attempt the retake when the Heroic's utility is out, when your teammates are here, when your teammates have utility maybe. So here we can see that Bit has the only utility on Navi. And this is the key point. This is why Heroic choose to execute on this very round. Heroic have a lot of utility, but they have counted Navi's util. They know that Navi have been wasting their mollies, and they know Navi doesn't have any defensive utility. So they can just execute on the site, and whoever might be there has nowhere to hide. So basically it's a free site, alright? Now if you did have utility as a CT, you could smoke off the mollies, so now you have a hiding spot again. Or what's more common nowadays is you smoke off in the middle of the site, and now you can play behind your smoke. So you basically create a new hiding spot. And once the once the Molotovs start fading, that's when you can move behind the new box again, or whatever hiding spot you might have been using. Also, if the CTs have any mollies, they can throw the mollies here at the entrance. Now the Ts cannot even enter the site. It just gets very messy. So you want to do this on rounds where the enemies don't have a util left. So maybe you know they have an eco, or maybe you know they have been using Molotovs heavily on B early round. That's what Heroic did here. They counted Navi's util, they counted 5 mollies, they knew Navi have nothing left, and they decided to execute B, and they knew it was empty, and that's why it worked so well on this specific round. Now the last thing I'd like to highlight here is do not use these local smokes or close range smokes. So don't throw a smoke here, or if you're going on A, avoid this smoke, avoid this smoke. Instead use these long range smoke. Cut off the rotates, cut off the AVPs, cut off the crossfires especially. The last thing you want is like an M4 here and M4 here. That's the only way to lose these rounds basically. You want to isolate the site, you want to isolate the enemy to the site, and then you don't want him to have anything to hide behind. That's why you don't want these local smokes at any cost. And these are low tempo. You take your time, you find the picks, you find the kills, you use the util properly. You even don't care if they have a stack. Like if it's an eco run and you're wondering if they have 5 guys on site, it's not that bad. You don't really care because you're gonna flush them out anyways. Everybody will be out in the open and everybody will be blind, and you will just slaughter them anyways. It's gonna be a faster win for you, whatever. Now let's move on to the next example, which is a little bit faster. Now that's an example of a pop or a fast execute from one of my own games, which relies on the enemies not having time to react. So really we don't care if they have utility left. Even if they have 5 mollies and 5 smokes, it doesn't matter, because we enter the site so quickly that they don't have time to take their utility out. They won't have time to throw their smokes, they won't have time to throw their mollies. And typically this relies on one good flashbang, a god flash if you will, and then you just explode to the site. Whatever rotates might be coming, they won't have time to do it. Whatever counter counter utility the side players might have, they won't have time to use it. Now, just like executes had a major downside where the enemy is not allowed to have too much counter utility, so do pops. Pops do not allow the enemies to have information or map control of you. So basically the entire play is reliant on me getting up so close to the enemy that during one flashbang I will have enough time to run to him and kill him. Alright, so if I'm too far back, if they see me up here or whatever, then it's not gonna work out because they will have rotates coming in, and even if we manage to blind 2 people, all it takes is for one of them to not be blind, for one of them to kill me, because I'm running at the site full speed. I don't have time to check the corners, I don't have time to take proper duels, I'm just running full speed. If there's even one guy and he kills me or even damages me, it might be enough for his teammates to come from the flashbang, and now his teammates will be fighting me as well, and we're just running to a stack with very low utility. Obviously we will lose this majority of the time. So these are kind of the polar opposite of each other. Fast execute or a pop is where we go full speed, low utility, and the enemy utility doesn't matter. All that matters is they don't know we're coming. Whereas the execute is the other side, where we don't even care if they know we're coming. If they don't have utility, we will go slowly, we will take our time, and we will win them anyways, alright? Now let's quickly analyze this round a little bit further in the skybox, where we can see that at the beginning of the round we have very little A presence. We have one guy in con and one guy towards A with an AVP, and we have 3 guys applying pressure on B side, and these were majority of the trades happen. Luckily we get the control from connector. One of our teammates kills a guy in connector, and then we get some kills on B, and then we lose some players on B, and basically everything that has happened is on B side, and they haven't seen anything A. They still have one guy pretty deep on A. This guy knows nothing is coming, there's no worries here, and then we start faking B, and this is the key here in SOLOQ in my mind. I fake B, I throw a smoke here, my teammate actually joins this very well, he starts throwing some mollies as well, and see what it does to the A player. The A player, even though he never goes to B all the way, he rotates towards B. He wants to be ready to help his teammates. This is SOLOQ. In his mind, his teammates are calling smokes, he hears the smokes, he's already rotating towards B. And now he lost control of this. I'm already up here. As soon as I threw the smoke, I started walking, and now I'm very close to him, and I know it's empty. Surely he would have either pushed to me, in which case it's just a duel or whatever, or if he didn't push to me, then surely he must have gone a little bit towards B. Alright, and that's the ideal option for such a fast execute. I also take out the molly and I molly off bank just in case there's somebody in bank, and this is an annoying angle which typically doesn't get blinded by any flashbangs. And yeah, that's all there is to it. Then I just get up close and personal, my teammate throws a god flash here, and I push the side and kill the enemy. Now the last thing I want to talk about with these pops is, what if somebody is, let's say he's crouching behind dice, or somebody runs away and hides like here behind, and now they will be ready to fight me again. What will I do? Well, that's where the late utility comes in. That's how pops basically work. You enter with a flash, and the remaining utility comes afterwards. So we still have the supportive players throwing the supportive utility. It's just the order of utility which has changed. So now whenever, let's say there was an AVP and he got blinded by the flash, of course he's gonna hide. Now he's gonna wait 2 or 3 seconds or whatever, and when the flashbang fades, that's when he starts running back, but that's just enough time for the smoke to land and bloom right in front of him. Same with the guy, let's say he was hiding dice, and then suddenly here pops a flashbang. This guy hides behind the dice, he crouches here, and then once he comes from the flashbang, that's when a molly suddenly explodes at his feet. And it doesn't matter if he has utility, he doesn't have time to take the utility out. I'm already here, he has to fight me, but there's a molly at his feet. He has no other option but to swing through the molly, away from the molly I mean, and try and kill me. But that's when the guy who threw the molly is already holding him and he's dead, alright? So that's how you do a proper pop. The enemies cannot know of you, they cannot have information of you, but it doesn't matter if they have util. Whereas with executes, it's the other way around. It doesn't matter if they know you're coming. If they don't have the utility to fight back, then they just have to give up the site and try and retake it. Now guys, looking back at the list of topics, we still have some things to cover, so make sure to subscribe for the future videos on roles of players, as well as defending against executes, and even more adapting to variables, even more ideal world executes. But even on this video, I think we missed one, which is the executing with strangers part, and I should probably discuss this. So with pops, you typically want to be the guy entering, and the reason is it's so easy for a stranger, a random teammate to throw a single flashbang. All you need to do is ask them if they know a really good flash on the site, and if they do, then you can do a pop with them, because you can be the guy doing all the hard work. You can take the map control, you can be the intro guy, you can tell him when to throw the flash. All he needs to do is throw one good flashbang, and then you can do this with a stranger. Whereas with the full executes, it's a little bit harder. Typically, you'd like to have at least one teammate who also knows a smoke. Like for example, on Inferno B, you need 2 smokes here, and then ideally you'd have at least 3 mollies, if not more. So yeah, it's kind of harder, but you can do this. I would be one of the supportive guys in these situations. I would guarantee a good molly and a good smoke, and then ideally my teammates would throw like another smoke here as well. And then you can throw like supportive flashes. But yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Make sure to like the video and leave a comment, and also subscribe for the future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck with your games.